Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on to layer number 3 now, to put the third layer and the final layer probably on this thing. So we want to start off with our friend tape again, and we just want to tape off this transparency down. And you can see I have actual proof that I've been working on, so I can kind of see what my two colors look like together. And I just want to think about where do I want to add colors here now for the third layer. And so one thing you probably definitely want to do is right away, you want to, before you forget, is you want to just transfer your registration marks over onto the new transparency so that you so that everything is the same. I always go like layer 3 and red because that's the color I'm going to use next. Now I just try to line up. If you have extra registration marks, like a center registration mark, I would use that as well on here. And just see if you can get it all to line up as perfectly as possible. For this third layer, it's not going to be quite such a big deal because I have, it's going to be a little bit looser layer. So I'm thinking, okay, if I'm going to put red into this now, where do I want the red to go? And so I'm probably not going to put a lot of red in this blue area over here. I'm going to leave that kind of as is, but I was thinking maybe it'd be nice to have like a red background back here. So for that, I'm just going to use my good old trusty Sharpie marker, and just like before, wherever I put a mark now is going to end up being a red color on the screen. And so there's just this one concept called trapping that you might want to think about. So if you look real closely here at our image, I have this gray mark, right? And I'd like the red to come up to it and sort of overlap it so there's not a white line next to it. And trapping means that I'm compensating for that. So I'm assuming there's going to be a little bit of play in my registration. I'm maybe not going to get it quite perfect. And so in order to compensate for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just draw over the gray line just a little bit. So I'm going to add a mark that kind of overlaps with that gray line, just a touch, so that I know that I have extra sort of play built into it. And that's called trapping. And you definitely would want to, you'd want to compensate for that and think about that as you're working on your image. And so I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of the drawing on this, and I'm going to make red all in the background back here, and we'll see how that looks. And then we'll print it all together, and we'll see how it turns out in the end.